In 1988, Edwina and Paul Heller of blessed memory commissioned world-renowned artist Aharon Bezalel to create a sculpture in memory of Edwina's family and all of those members of their Jewish community who perished, of our Jewish community who perished in the Shoah. The sculpture, entitled Minyan in Memory of the Shoah, once stood prominently in our northeast corner of our Sholom garden, just over there by the hedge. As happens, the hedge, which hadn't been planted at the time of the dedication, it grew. It grew and flourished, as we hope and pray all living things will do. And in time, even with constant attention by our landscapers, the hedge enveloped much of the stunning and evocative sculpture. This summer, with the help of their daughter Irene and the family foundation that Edwina and Paul established to further Holocaust education and to honor sacred memory, we relocated Minyan in Memory of the Shoah from our northeast corner to our southeast corner, just over there behind the blue tape. It's more accessible. It's a more prominent spot for all to consider and to contemplate its meaning and message. A few weeks ago, after the relocation, I had the opportunity to sit and do just that. I sat on Sarah's bench with its own thoughtful plaque that says, "Sit here and have a rest." And I considered the memorial from a perspective I had never had before. Not unlike the perspective of a mourner who contemplates and meditates on the meaning of life with new appreciation for its fragility, the haunting and powerful peace revealed a new depth of despair and of the Shoah that transcends numbers too big to count and names of camps too many to recall. That is the thing about memory. The more specific, the more detailed we remember people and moments, down to the way that they wore their clothes, how they drank their coffee, the wrinkles and the scars and the sunspots on their skin, many of which came with their own story, some of which we caused. The more detailed we get, the closer we get. So looking at this sculpture really for the first time, you just didn't see it in all its detail. Hidden amidst the hedge, high up on that small mound near our back fence over there, I couldn't see what I saw. But seeing it from this new perspective, and now thanks to Irene knowing its proper name, Minyan in Memory of the Shoah, I was brought to tears. A minyan is, of course, 10 Jews, traditionally adult men. Bezalel's sculpture is a male and female figure. The female is holding an infant in her arms, and standing between them is a young child. All of them are headless. They are surrounded by 6 tree trunks that appear to have been roughly cut just a foot or two from their roots. The trees, too, are without their crowns. They have no branches. Like the family, they have no future to reach for. If there is a minyan to be found amongst those 10 elements, it is composed of living things whose lives have been cut short. They stand straight, but not tall. The minyan is incomplete not because it lacks 10, but because what was once living and growing has been severed from, and cut down, and cut off. Life has been cut short, and all that remains are the roots and remnants, what anchored us to the earth. The hopes, dreams, aspirations that rest in yearning tree branches and in the human face and eyes are missing. They are gone. All that we are left with is the foundation, the evidence that they existed, but not what they would become. In the iconography that appears in old Jewish cemeteries, particularly throughout Eastern Europe, most prominently in our once flourishing Jewish communities of Warsaw, where Edwina's family was from and where nearly all of them perished. In those Jewish cemeteries that go back more than 1,000 years through pogroms and catastrophes, you will see scattered amongst the tombstones in those Jewish cemeteries images of trees toppled over or candlesticks cut in half. These are used on those matzevot, on those headstones, by our tradition to depict a life unexpectedly cut short, a coded message that something was not as it should be. I can only conclude that Bezalel, a learned Israeli artist whose father was a rabbi and a Kabbalist, that he knew this Jewish custom and incorporated it into our memorial sculpture. A life cut short, like trees cut down. No matter how long a person lives, if we love them when they die, it is always too soon and too abrupt. Their life is ended, and ours too is cut and broken and torn. Like the kriya ribbon or the torn shirt the mourner wears, something whole has been ripped apart and asunder, and we are left in ruins, tattered, with only the remnant, the memory, and the reminders of who and what they were to hold us together. But memories fade. We start to lose the detail and remember only generalities. He liked to walk in the morning. She had sugar with her tea. They always held hands. But do we give ourselves the time and the gift of remembering how they walked and our conversations with them on that stroll or over that cup of tea? Those same hands that held each other more than once held us as well. Can we feel that touch still so many years later? Memorials seem, from a quiet contemplative perspective, they invite us to remember in every detail, to dig deeply within the treasure box and treasure trove of our memories, and to find the glowing jewel that was their soul, a soul we carry with us everywhere. That is the purpose of Yizkor. Like the memorial that now stands prominently in our garden once again, it is there to help us to remember. In the case of the Shoah, to never forget. We build our memorial to loved ones every time we visit their grave. The Jewish custom of placing a stone on a tombstone, it is ancient. In doing so, we are symbolically adding to the tomb, building the monument, the memorial that honors the dead. Putting flowers on a grave is not our custom. The flowers wither and die. Stones remained unchanged forever. Although flowers are a beautiful gift to the living, they mean nothing to the dead. In death, the ephemeral and temporary body disappears, and all that remains is that eternal part of the person, the neshama, the soul. The body, like a flower, like those 6 tree trunks before that were brutally cut down, blooms and fades. But the soul, like that solid stone, like a solid stone and bronze of memorial, it lives on forever. In the real world, the place that we go after life on earth, what counts is the lasting impact we have had on the world and those in it, those closest to us who we loved and who loved us. It's the conquests of the soul, not of the body, that go beyond the grave. The money we make, the vacations we take, the food we eat, the games we play, they are all flowers. They wither and fade and die with us. But the good deeds we do, the love we show to others, the light that we bring to the world, they are eternal stones, pillars and monuments and memorials that never die. Take a modest stone that will cost you nothing and place it on a grave of your loved one to tell them that even though they are gone, the impact of their soul had on you is real and eternal. Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks reminds us Jews have told the story of who we are for longer and more devoutly than any other people on the face of the earth. That's what makes Jewish identity so rich and resonant. In an age in which computers and smartphones' memories have grown so fast, from kilobytes to megabytes to gigabytes, while human memories have become so foreshortened, there is an important Jewish message to humanity as a whole, a message in a stone, in a memorial. You can't delegate memory to machines. You have to renew it regularly, teach it to the next generation. Winston Churchill said, "The longer you can look back, the further you can see forward." Or to put it in slightly different terms, those who tell the story of their past have already begun to build their children's future. Consider the stone, the memorial. It is not an inanimate thing. It breathes life into our memories. It invites us to dwell deeply on every detail, and in remembering them, they never truly die. The dead go on living inside of each of us, in each generation, with each stone, as we remember them. May the memory of our loved ones always be for a blessing. Amen.